Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is December 18th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and we've got the air mass characteristics overlaid here. You can see that subtropical moisture being pulled up over the state of California with our storm systems. Been bringing heavy rain at times, thunderstorm activity, some gusty winds out there. Just now, this first round is moving across the Bay Area. We've got additional showers will be moving in, and then if you look off to the northwest, this is the next storm system, and this one's starting to uptrend for portions of Northern California and the Bay Area again, so probably bringing a nice shot of precipitation with it as it pivots down across Southern California and brings some heavy rain down there and potentially even in through Arizona and New Mexico. So we'll dive into those videos here as we go through the video today. We've also got wind advisories out there, coastal areas, higher terrain, heads up for some gusts, 40 to 55 miles per hour. This goes through tomorrow morning. And here we go with Sacramento National Weather Service. You have thunderstorm potential today and tomorrow, so heads up for that. You can see the chances aren't great here, but there's already been quite a few lightning strikes associated with the storms that moves across the area. We've got winter storm watches above 8,000 feet and the really big stuff above 9,000 feet. So heads up if you're going across the higher passes of the Sierra Nevada or if you're out across the backcountry there. Here's the day one excessive rainfall outlook. I know there was already some flooding ongoing. Nothing too extreme right now, but there is some pretty heavy rain falling at times, and we're having another round here come in with that next storm system as well. So stay on guard as far as flooding issues are concerned. This is forecast rainfall Wednesday night through Saturday. This is the Los Angeles Metro and San Diego. Widespread 2+ inches, mainly mountains and west here, but there is some bigger amounts that are going to be showing up through the desert areas, and the storm has been trending a bit wetter for places east of the mountains, also on in through Arizona and New Mexico. So heads up for that, and we'll take a look at some of these details a bit more coming up here. This is for Arizona. You can see the widespread 1+ inch totals out there, and Phoenix might be looking at an inch in a 24-hour period as well. Could be having some minor flooding out there, but for the most part, this should be a beneficial rainfall. Here's the day one categorical outlook for thunderstorms, and you can see we do have that potential as we go through the day today, but probably the worst of it as far as thunderstorm potential is over for today, but it's going to be back tomorrow, and this is eventually going to move down the coastline here as well, the threat across Arizona and New Mexico. Also, this is day two for tomorrow. And day three, you can see this pivot down the central coast towards Southern California as well. This is the European yesterday afternoon's run, so this is what was moving in through here overnight and early this morning. It might have woke some of you guys up. I saw some posts out there from the thunderstorm activity. And then as we scroll on in through the day today, we get a little bit of a break from the thunderstorm activity, at least according to the European, but it comes back tomorrow here for some of the Bay Area, Central California, and then we relax that a bit. Next storm really gets going off the coastline here. This is going to target some of the central coast down through Southern California, and you can see this thunderstorm potential goes on for a while, all the way on through the day Thursday. Now we're on into Thursday night, into Friday morning here, and this just continues as the storm pivots off to the east. Now, taking a look at the NAM3 cam, this is hot off the presses. It's composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like as we go through the day today. A lot of that is wrapping up here this morning as these showers move through, but you can see these are kind of just continuing to roll in as we go through the late morning hours, and they continue through the afternoon as well. So you can't rule out a couple lightning strikes associated with that as this storm moves up the coastline here as well. And you can see some areas are going to be getting some pretty steady rainfall as we go all the way on in through tomorrow. By the time the next storm starts rolling in tomorrow afternoon from Northern California, again, a nice slug of precipitation associated with that as we go through Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning for Central California, the Bay Area. And you can see this just continuing to spin off the coastline. And again, thunderstorm potential all the way down through Southern California, some heavy rain, and some areas are going to get some much higher amounts locally speaking. This is looking at total snow couchera, and this is hot off the presses. Is trying to update that to make sure we have the most recent runs. But you can see it's mainly confined to the higher terrain. We're not looking at low snow levels across the foothills or anything like that. This is a pretty warm storm at the first round here. The second one's got some cold air associated with it, but it's bringing a very impressive plume of subtropical and tropical moisture out ahead of it as well. So we're not going to be looking at extremely low snow levels. But as we go through Tuesday, you can kind of see a little bit of snow popped up down there across some of Southern California. So you can't rule out across some of the highest terrain in Southern California a little bit of snow flying maybe. But as we scroll through the day Wednesday, you can see some additional amounts coming across the Sierra Nevada, some of the higher terrain of Nevada as well. Now, if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, this thing has a lightning detection system with it, and I can't imagine having this if I was a kid. It would have been so fun. You guys are so lucky today to have this, at least the younger generations out there. All solar powered, no batteries. It stores all the data for you in the cloud. You can look at it from anywhere that you are. You don't have to be at your house to check out all your information. It's ultrasonic anemometer, haptic rain gauge. Highly recommend this station. Now, let's take a look at a wider view of things here. You got the Hawaiian Islands at the bottom left. There's the state of California. You're looking at 500 millibars or 18,000 feet, and you can kind of see that cold air associated with an initial storm here, and you can clearly see it in the wind field at 18,000 feet there. Now, if you look to the north and west, you can see the next system out there and the cold air associated with it, and look how this drops down, pointing at that cold air, moves down the coast of California, and you see that low that it becomes closed here, but it's got a strong subtropical jet stream associated with it, a lot of moisture moving into the area. And again, the track of this low means a lot, because if this drifts a little bit further to the southwest, it's going to bring less precipitation amounts. But if this is any closer to the coastline or moves any slower, it's going to bring some flooding potential with it as well across Southern California. So we really got to watch this. It's kind of a nowcast situation, because there's probably going to be some really big amounts rolling in here if this thing slows down at all or stays towards the coastline a little bit closer than what the models are showing. And then we scroll out through the extended a little bit here, and you can see that powerful jet stream. Look at this cold air spilling out over the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to be trying to spin up storms that are trying to get into California here. But if this trough sets up a little bit far west, you can actually get some ridging out in front of it. So these are things we are watching over the next few days, but it does look like a very powerful jet stream, an active storm pattern here for the west coast of North America. And we'll break down those details here over the next few days, of course. Now, 72-hour precipitation totals. You can see some of these huge amounts across Northern California, Central Bay Area. And again, another round with that secondary system. Looks like it's going to bring some heavy rain for Northern and Central California before it moves down towards Southern California. And as we scroll out in through about Friday afternoon, you can see these impressive totals across Southern California as the system moves across. Some of the desert areas are going to get some nice rainfall out of this as well, even clipping some of Las Vegas and bringing big totals across Arizona as well. Kind of widespread amounts should be very beneficial for some drought-stricken areas across Arizona and New Mexico. Now, looking at total precipitation inches, we can just kind of scroll through this. It's something similar to the 72-hour here, but it just kind of leaves the total out there. Go through hour 144, and that's when the European model as of last night ends, and you can see these big amounts across the area. And we have been relatively dry. The vegetation is dry out there as well, so these are beneficial rains as long as you don't bring it too hot and heavy, and as long as this low doesn't hang out too long and cause some flooding issues as it rolls in here, which it very well could. Now, taking a look at the precipitable water, this is the initial storm here, subtropical moisture out in front of it, keeping the snow levels very high, but it's also a pretty juicy atmosphere, and that's why it's bringing thunderstorm activity with it as well. Next system rolls down off the coastline here. You can really see it grab some of the subtropical moisture and throwing it back into Central and Southern California, eventually Arizona and New Mexico as well. So I always like watching this roll in through here, and you can kind of see that system as it finally pivots off to the east. Now, taking a look at Oakland. So look at how it's been uptrending here with this next system is also. So you can see 1.85, 1.9 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. That's still yet to come here for some of the Bay Area here. So things are uptrending here with the next storm. This is Los Angeles. You can kind of see the back and forth that the Europeans been going through here. This is yesterday morning. It backed off a bit and said 1.5 inches in a 24-hour period. Now it's back to 2.5 inches in a 24-hour period. So this storm, pretty fickle coming down here. There's going to be some locally higher amounts, as I've been mentioning. Now, looking at San Diego, this is what we call the total precipitation. We're looking at ensemble members here. Now, we're looking at the green line here being the ensemble mean. The blue box is the 90th and the 10th percentile of the ensemble members here. And you can see how the deterministic run is on the high side of things here, but you can see pretty impressive rainfall amounts if either the mean or the deterministic verified. Taking a look at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, check it out. Been uptrending here with the precipitation amounts as well. Looking up towards 1 inch in a 24-hour period. Not bad. We'll definitely take it. And even Las Vegas getting in the action a little bit here. As this low moves down the coastline, it's not that favorable here for bringing precipitation into a lot of Nevada, but hopefully we can clip Nevada here and some of the areas out there towards Arizona, California border, maybe even into southwest Utah also. And yeah, So hopefully, we're looking for that beneficial rainfall. Now looking at dynamic tropopause pressure here, this shows you the temperatures at the upper levels of the atmosphere. And I like looking at this map just because you can see where the cold air and the warm air is, and just kind of gives you an idea of the gradient and the contrast you're dealing with. So here goes an initial storm system towards the Pacific Northwest. But look at this little bowling ball. It's like dropping an ice cube into a deep fryer. Here you're going to see this just set up right off the coast of California. It's going to be spreading that deep moisture back up over the area. So we just basically dropped this very cold air all the way down into the subtropics and the tropics down here, and going to get a pretty good reaction out of that as the storm moves across the area. Now taking a look at the European as of last night, wider view of things here. Here's the initial storm system here. It's been spreading that heavy rain across the area. It's going to continue on through the day tomorrow. Storm system number 2 sets up shop and brings that heavy rain all the way down through Southern California, pivoting across the desert areas in Arizona there also. And then you can see we wait for the jet stream to get rolling across the Pacific Ocean here, and maybe some additional storms. Now looking at the GFS, we'll take a look at the extended forecast now. There's the initial storm there. Storm number 2 drops down here, bringing its rainfall with it, kicks off to the east. Then we have this next system kind of clipping Northern California. This might bring some mountain snow, might actually bring some decent snowfall amounts across Nevada for the higher terrain, Utah, even some of Arizona here as we go through later portions of the weekend. So if you guys want some snow across the Intermountain West, that's a good storm to watch here as we go through the weekend. And then the jet stream starts ripping here. We start throwing some systems back at the Pacific Northwest, and some of those might start impacting California here as well. But hopefully that troughing doesn't hold too far back off to the west here. As you can see, some interesting atmospheric river potential starts to roll through in the post-Christmas period coming up, and then additional systems possible after that. But if that trough holds too back, you can actually get some dry periods in there as well and some ridging. Now, looking at the 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook, of course, we're going to kind of have that southwest flow going on. So we're looking at above average potential all the way through the end of the year coming up. And 8 to 14 day still have that above average signal here for much of the state of California. And just bringing up the vegetation drought response index. And this round of rainfall is needed. I mean, you can see things are pretty dry across the state of California, although we don't have any official drought right now. So anyway, yeah. Crazy storm out there. I saw some posts from some people I know across California. They got woken up with that thunder and lightning out there. You can see storm number 2, and that's going to bring another big shot of rainfall here across the Bay Area. So we got to watch out for those flooding concerns. We'll dive into those details tomorrow as we still have a little bit of time to watch this system roll in as well. And I'm off the next 4 days, so I may actually do a live stream at some point here over the next couple of days as well. Do some Q&A, and we'll watch the storm systems roll in together. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.